what is a privacy policy, why you need it on your website, and what should be in it. Let's go. I'm Scott Radigan. I'm the founder of Functional Lawyer and Origins Incubator. And I have clients all the time asking me legal questions, and this is one of the more common ones. So what is it first? Then we're going to go, what is in it? And then 3, the reasons that you ought to have it, besides the obvious one that you are required to. So let's jump right in. A privacy policy is just a legal document that you put on your website to let visitors know what you're doing with their information. So you're collecting information, personally identifiable information, or PII, on website visitors, whether you know it or not. Sometimes people will tell me, well, I don't collect email addresses or names from anybody on my website. My first question is, why not? You ought to be if you want to run a successful business in the 21st century. But that's neither here nor there. What is important is that even if you don't do any of that stuff, your website is collecting information on people, their IP address, what country they're in, how long they stay on your website, the actions they take on your website. That's all being collected, especially if you have cookies enabled on your site. So you're collecting all that. Now, in the last 2 years, everybody has a cookie notification before you can start accessing the site. So that's another reason to have the privacy policy in place. All right, but so why should we have it? Great. 1, it's required. So we'll get some more of that in a second. But 2, it builds trust for your brand. It makes you look like a professional, right? Someone goes to your website and looks like it's a website from 1999 with MySpace and all this other stuff. It's going to look like garbage, right? You don't have any of that because you're a professional. So your website looks a little bit better, but you don't have that stuff at the bottom that kind of makes it a little bit more legitimate. Some people don't care about that. Others do, but I'll give you an example. So it's been proven now through marketing psychology that the presence of testimonials on a sales page or a web page is enough to convey the message. I'll say that a different way. You can have 10 testimonials on your page. No one's going to read them. They just like to see that they're there, right? You might read 1 or 2. So let's say you're reading somebody's sales page and you're just starting to get convinced, and you see a testimonial here, and you keep reading, you see another one down there, and you see another one. Oh, well, man, this starts to look really good. You're not even reading the whole thing, or you're not reading it at all. You're just looking at the 5 stars, possibly. Research has shown that that is the case. Maybe it's not true for you, but just the mere presence of it makes people believe the testimonials and that this person is getting results. Same thing here. Just the mere presence of the privacy policy helps build trust for your brand. Then another reason to have it is that if you want to run paid ads through Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they're going to require privacy policies, right? So Facebook, which owns Instagram, will not approve your ad if you're sending it to a landing page that doesn't have a privacy policy. And Google has a similar policy in place. So unless you're going to break the law, build a crappy looking website, and don't collect any information online, which is near impossible, then you need a privacy policy in place. Are they required? Yes, they are. You're collecting their information, names, email addresses, all that stuff, but you're also including, their IP address and the cookies that they leave. Essentially, if you're building an online business or you have an online presence to your brick and mortar business, you are collecting personally identifiable information. Now, unless you're like a mom and pop diner, you should have a website in the 21st century. So that means everybody needs a privacy policy on their website. Because you're collecting all this information, all these laws kind of come into place. So the United States has Child Online Privacy and Protection Act, or COPPA. California has Online Privacy Protection Act, or CalAPA. California has the Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA. The European Union has the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Canada has one called PIPEDA. Australia has a privacy law. And before you get too excited that you don't live in any of those jurisdictions, and most of you watching this are from the United States, know that it's just like telemedicine. It's wherever that person's located. So even if you're not in California, if someone from California visits your website, you are required to abide by California's online privacy laws. So you still need a privacy policy, and you need one that will conform to CalAPA, CCPA, and the rest of the United States, COPPA. Again, if you have somebody visit your website from the European Union, you need to follow GDPR, from Canada, PIPEDA, and from Australia, the Australian privacy law. But don't worry, we'll get to how you can comply with all that in a second. So what's in it? What's in a good one, right? First, just drawing from that last section, everything that complies with those laws ought to be in it. So what information you collect from people, how you collect it, why you're collecting it, what are you doing with it, how are you using it, are you selling it to third parties, or just using it for marketing or research, who do you share that information with, third parties or not, and then what visitors can do, if anything, and yes, they can do something, especially in those other jurisdictions, to limit or your use or collection or distribution of that information. Now, that's pretty broad, and there's a lot more specifics to it than that, but that's really what you need in it. Now, rather than bore you with all of the details, let's get to the next question. Can I just copy and paste it from somebody else's website? As an attorney, that makes me, uncomfortable, because number one, it's likely stealing. Number two, just energetically, it's also stealing. Doesn't feel good if you don't, kind of have it connected to your website. But third, you don't know where they got it. They could have got it from somebody else's website. So by the time you get to it, it might be still talking about like a home builder in Idaho, their website, how home builders in Idaho collect your information when you're a medical practice in North Carolina. So you want it to fit your practice, fit your company. You want it to comply with all of those regulations I just named. That home builder in Idaho may have no idea. He might have got his from Google or wherever. So you just want to be able to sleep easy at night knowing that you have a good one. But let's take a second to talk about templates, because I got a secret for you. Lawyers use templates all the time, and that's kind of where Functional Lawyer was born. When I was at my firm, I got a new project as a young, fresh-faced associate attorney. They would give me a project and say, go check the system, which was code for, we have a whole file system for every attorney across the country and across the world. All of their documents sit in there. You can search it for a recent one that kind of conforms to this project and then build it from there. You don't have to go reinvent the wheel all the time. And attorneys are really good at that because we bill by the hour, or most of them bill by the hour. So there are good attorneys out there that try to reduce your billable hour rate. So instead of writing everything from scratch, we start with templates from our colleagues who we trust and know inside our firm that are good attorneys. But here at Functional Lawyer, we have templates for you to use written by attorneys in collaboration with another law firm that have a good privacy policy that conform with all of those regulations we discussed above or below, and that you can customize to your practice. So I'll put a link down below where you can get your privacy policy. If you have any questions about this, let me know. I also recommend a website terms and conditions, which we'll cover in another post, and then a website disclaimer, which also covers your butt a little bit on your website as well. So if you want all three of those together, there's a bundle. You can save a little bit of money. But why should you not write it yourself? One is you're not an attorney, but two, your time is too valuable to go copy and paste. Make sure you go find the GDPR regulations from this one and the Australia regulations from this one, or CalAPA and COPPA and CCPA, and make sure and Frankenstein it. How long will that take you? And will it be good? So 2 questions. Will it be good? Maybe. But will it take you 5 hours? Maybe. Is your time more valuable than that? Probably, especially if you can get it for less than $100. So my recommendation is to grab your template here from Functional Lawyer. And if you guys have any questions, comment below, reach out to us at functionallawyer.com, and we'll see you in the next video.